I think it's safe to say that the 2021 Georgia Bulldog defense was one of the best defenses we've ever seen in college football history. And I think going into this upcoming season, one of the bigger question marks that I and everyone else has for the team is, can the 2022 defense be nearly as good or even on the same level as the defense we saw last fall? I think it's possible. I expect them to be a top 3 defense in the SEC once again. Don't think they're going to be as good, but if a few things go their way and a few of these younger guys step up and become big-time playmakers like I expect, I do think we will once again see an elite defense and one of the best in college football for the 2022 season. That's really what this video is all about. But first, I want to talk about the book we have over on Dog Post called DAWGSTRUCTION. This is a special book to us because every picture you see in this book was a picture that we took during the 2021 season, of course, following and covering the team that would go on to win the national championship. We've got some of the best pictures I've ever seen. Some of us take in this book. We've got a summary of the game. You can laugh, you can cry, relive all of the moments from Georgia's national championship season with DAWGSTRUCTION. Make sure you go get it now. We put a lot of effort into this and some we've been working on all season, really leading up to this moment. So make sure you go and check that out. Back to the defense. Again, what I think made last year's group so special is the fact that Jordan Davis came back for another year. Devonta Wyatt came back for another year. You had veteran leaders on this team, and it's going to show in the 2022 NFL Draft when Jordan Davis goes first round, Nakobe Dean goes first round, Trayvon Walker could go first round, Darian Kendrick could go first round. There were so many veterans on that group that made it such a special team. They're nowhere near the defense that they were if Jordan Davis decided to enter the draft last year. Probably would not have been a pick in the first 2 rounds, but he would have been chosen. Devonta Wyatt probably not picked, and he's a guy who worked his way into probably the 2nd or 3rd round. Quay Walker, Channing Tindall, 2 guys from the 2018 class. Nolan Smith, 2019. Adam Anderson was a big impact player early on in the season. He was from 2018 class. Lewis Seen, 2019 class. So you've got a lot of these guys who have been around and were multi-year starters on the 21 defense that we're just not going to see in the 22 group. Yes, the secondary does have a lot of veterans. William Poole working on his doctorate in his 6th year, a guy who made a lot of plays in the national championship. He's going to see the field more this upcoming year than he did last year. Chris Smith in his 5th year, a guy who quietly climbed the depth chart over the first few years, earned his playing time, and now he's playing really well. Interception in the national championship game, pick 6 against Clemson. And they really missed him out in the SEC championship game when he was banged up. He means a lot. Dan Jackson, another safety guy who could play the star position. He'll be in his 4th year. I think he'll be a redshirt junior. I think this past year was his 3rd year. Could have been a 2nd, but he's a guy who brings experience. He's not some freshman, newbie out there. He knows what he's doing, and he's already instinctive and plays, fast football at this level. Keely Ringo is going to be a multi-year starter. They still need someone to step up on the opposite corner position, but at linebacker, you're replacing a lot. You're replacing the heart of the defense, Nakobe Dean. You could probably do that with Jamon Dumas-Johnson, but you can't expect him to play at that same level that Nakobe Dean's been playing the last 2 years. You don't just replace Quay Walker, who's playing the best football of his career down the stretch. Same with Channing Tindall. It took them a while to get to the level that they were at last year because they sat and learned the ropes for 4 years. We'll see what we have with Small Munden and Xavier Sori and Chaz Chambliss and Jamon Dumas-Johnson, a few of these other linebackers. But they're not proven just yet. A lot of these guys were proven in 2020 going into this season, and that's why everyone expected the defense to be one of the best. I don't think anyone expected 15 touchdowns in 15 games, which is still crazy. I believe under 300 yards total offense. Given up on defense. I might have to check that, but this was an elite defense, and I think Georgia fans see good defense all the time, especially since 2017. But even, in the early Mark Richt years, those early 2000s, Georgia fans know what good defense looks like, and this defense separated themselves from all of the rest of the great defenses that we've seen come through Athens recently. So on the defensive line, you're losing a lot. Again, Jordan Davis, there's no one on the roster like Jordan Davis. You might have to go to the transfer portal to get that guy. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is big. He's not 330 plus. Timon Mitchell, I don't think is 330 plus. They're going to have to find a replacement for him. Devonta Wyatt, he's so quick for his size off the ball. The guy lived in the backfield. Do they have another guy who could step up and be that guy? Maybe that's Tramel Wallflower. Zion Logue is a guy that we saw in high school. Dean saw him in high school, and has been a fan of his for like 3 years now. He was in the 2019 class. This should be his 4th year. He should be growing into a solid edge defender who can move inside and play at around 280 and do his thing. So there's a lot of guys who will have the opportunity to play really well. Nazir Stackhouse is a guy who's played some and made a little bit of an impact. Obviously, Jalen Carter is going to be the guy, one of the best defensive linemen in all of college football, but he's still going to need some help. He's going to have help from Robert Beal and Nolan Smith on the outside, especially getting after the passer, but maybe it's Bear Alexander, a freshman, who comes in and plays well. Michael Williams is going to play. It won't be inside. He's going to be on the edge. He's around like 265, I think, right now, so he's not an interior guy, but there's going to need to be some of those interior guys to step up and be, the 4-star that they were out of high school 3 years ago. This is a big year for Trey Scott to see if he can develop the talent that he signed in the 2020-21 and now the 2022 class. So he's a great recruiter. We know that. It's time to see that talent develop this offseason. And there's so many guys that we haven't seen from the 2020 and 21 class yet. Mikhail Sherman, 5-star. They went after him instead of Will Anderson, really. So he's a guy who, if he's healthy, needs to start showing why they went after him and recruited him. When you recruit the best of the best and you go get your guys, and it's year 3, it's go time. And especially if they want to keep churning out these, high-level NFL draft picks that they've done a good job of doing for the past few years. And again, I think they could have 7 or 8 defenders alone picked in the first 2 rounds of this draft. And so it's unreasonable to expect the 22 defense to be that good. I didn't think the 21 defense would be as good as it was because they lost Azeez Ojulari and Monty Rice and Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. I thought they would be good, but I didn't think that they could just send those guys off and say, bye, later, we don't need you, we're going to be even better. This year, they're losing too many. I know they missed a lot from 20 and got better, this past fall, but I just don't see it happening the same way unless Small Munden is an absolute stud 5-star linebacker. If Jamon Dumas-Johnson takes that next role and becomes the next Roquan Smith, Nakobe Dean linebacker in the middle, he has the potential to do so. Very fast and instinctive, sideline to sideline, and he's already made plays. But some of these younger guys are going to have to step up. But overall, they're going to be a top 3 defense, at least in the SEC, which is where people play defense, from a national standpoint. They're going to be right there. Alabama and Texas A&M are going to have fantastic defenses. Georgia's going to be right there. We are going to see a lot of these, young pups really start to grow and develop because there's not really a whole lot of other options. They could still hit the transfer portal for an interior defensive lineman or a defensive back, but they do have plenty of talent on hand. So we'll see how it goes. I think they're going to be very, very good. Again, I think they should be elite. They have elite talent on the roster, but they are replacing a lot, and I'm not sure they're going to be as good as they were in that historic 2021 season that we saw last fall. Guys, thanks for watching this video as always. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on the website.